Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with some more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer. Today I want to go over something a bit different. So for those of you guys who've heard me talk about the XP chevron bug before, or are aware of what it is, wanted to show you a battle that sort of goes over it and talks about why it's a problem. And, you know, it is a bug. Creative Assembly's aware of it. I'm really hoping it gets fixed as soon as possible. So I've been actually sitting on this battle replay for a while, hesitant as to whether or not I should actually make this video. But I know that Creative Assembly's aware of this problem, and hopefully it'll be getting patched as soon as possible. And to sort of help maybe persuade them to do so, I've decided to just make this video, talk about this publicly, and inform you guys of how you can use and abuse this bug against your enemies. So let's talk about something real quick with the big Dread Boy here. You can see that he's ranked up to rank 3, coming in with 56 melee attack, 29 melee defense. That's important. Remember that for later. He has some base chevrons already, as does Mr. Feral Carnosaur here. And the chevrons that he gains throughout the course of the battle, you know, obviously will rank him up some more and gives him some extra stats. Not a lot of people know, though, that the stats you gain in battle are currently bugged and will actually give you significantly more stats than you should be getting otherwise. So we've got a Life Salon here to help support the Dread Boy, Feral Carnosaur, some Saurus Warriors with shields, Temple Guard, the Star Chamber Guardians have also got the Cohort of Quaddle, pretty cool pick, if even a little terrible. Sadly. As for the Beastmen here, we've got Brave Shaman, Lore of Death, Ungor Spearman Herd, all around here. We've got a Giant, very good pick, as we know. Morgr the Shadow gave a Gorbel as well. Razor Gore Chariot, a decent niche pick here, and we've also got some Centigores. So yeah, we're going to be getting this battle underway, and the Dread Boy is definitely going to be doing some hunting. So this is one of the main reasons why you should always take the regular Dread Saurian instead of the Regiment of Renown, because as you guys will see, you can actually get the regular Dread Saurian to have better stats than the Regiment of Renown because of this bug. So he's going to come in here on the side and start to absolutely bully this giant here. You can see the summon going to be used from Morgr. Cohort of Quaddle also rush in here to do some armor sundering. So just an absolute pit fight right now with all these monsters. The Carnosaur runs in also. And yeah, because the Lizardmen force is a bit small, you can see they start to get surrounded here. That is going to lead to leadership issues. A very nice Overcast Doom and Darkness as well leads a lot of these units to rout, even, you know, some of the more elite units like these Saurus Warriors. So that's pretty rough. Shield of the Old Ones, though, going to come down and, you know, help mitigate some of that damage here. Some healing as well, looks like, on some of these units, maybe. Just a cold-blooded, and yes, a regrowth on that Feral Carnosaur as well. Cohort of Quaddle aren't taking too much damage here, and it looks like Aspect of Dread Knight actually to give some extra terror in here. And leadership. Aspect of Dread Knight also makes all of your units immune to psychology, or at least immune to being terrified, because obviously the units that cause terror can't be terrified, right? But Life Salon responds with some nice healing here, just continuing to pump some Earthblood. And we can see the Dread Saurian's already ranked up once from rank 3 to rank 4, so we're getting some increased stats there. Cohort of Quaddle continuing to fight on, and you can see the Lizardmen start to get worn away pretty quickly here. The supporting infantry is just about gone already. Really only the Star Chamber Guardians continuing to fight here. The Cohort of Quaddle, though, and the Dread Saurian able to form a nice kind of monster Death Star here. And the Dread Saurian just bodying the giant, knocking him around. And these Centigores, obviously non-AP variety, don't really have too much of a prayer of doing a ton of damage here, but they'll come in, provide some extra bodies for the giant. And yeah, the Cohort of Waddle definitely getting worn down. Morgr's in here, providing a bit of poison. And he himself also has decent enough weapon strength. He can kind of get some hits in here as well, but Life Salon relatively healthy. Looks like he's doing just fine, and the Star Chamber Guardians, of course, giving him that physical resistance, breaking some chariots there as well. The Carnosaur also, a nice Overcast Earthblood, healing all of these high-value units here. So, going to continue to grind on. Beastman Power Spike has worn off somewhat, as those Chaos Spawn got worn away, but they still have plenty left in the tank here. You can see Aura of Pretzels as well for extra melee defense and armor. And checking back with the Dread Saurian, you can see with the second rank now, he's up to 67 melee attack. The Aura of Pretzels gives him 63 melee defense as well, so just absolutely insane stats right now. If you look at poor Gorbel, 45 and 32, just has no prayer of even touching the Dread Saurian with those stats, especially with the regrowth now giving him perfect vigor and shield of the old ones. Vigor is something that not a lot of people appreciate, but it is super, super important, especially in a late game fight between monsters like this. Having perfect vigor is going to make a huge difference here. Nice banishment as well, going off on some of those Beastmen units, and what initially looked to be a very, very favorable situation for the Beastmen is still not amazing. Who knows? They'll still be able to probably grind it out a bit here, but the Giant going down is definitely going to be an issue. Gorbel going down could also potentially be a huge issue as well, but this Dread Saurian has a ton of HP. The Feral Carnosaur, unfortunately, has been kind of beat up pretty badly here, so not all is lost for the Beastmen. And especially as the Dread Saurian starts to get isolated here, and a huge hit from the Giant on that Feral Carnosaur there immediately pops the Old-Blooded, and, the Cold-Blooded to try and keep him on the field there. But the Spawn and the Giant continuing to kind of pursue there. Another heal from Mr. Lifeslon, and going to continue to let this Dread Saurian fight. Not quite to that third XP chevron yet, but definitely well on his way, and you can see it only takes a couple of hits against high-value units like a Gorbel or, you know, a Lord or Caster, something like that, to really pay off there. But this Carnosaur is really not doing great, going to get isolated once again here, take a huge hit from that Giant. Gorbel also comes in and gets a nice hit on the side there, and that's going to be pretty much all she wrote for the Feral Carnosaur, unfortunately. Despite the Aura of Pretzels there for the extra melee defense and armor, not going to quite be enough. And the Carnosaur will be gone after having only gained 1 rank. But the Dread Boy, of course, still reasonably healthy. The Lifeslon, though, getting sniped out here by Morgr could actually be the game changer. In a situation like this, from the Beastman's perspective, you definitely need to try and snipe the Lifeslon as priority target number 1. Because until you get rid of him, you're basically going to have to kill the Dread Saurian like twice, almost. But Giant comes in here, tries to get a big attack. The Shield of the Old Ones, though, again, helping mitigate some of that damage as the Saurian continues to sustain here, getting very close to that third XP chevron. So, kind of keep it close and cinematic as the Slon decides to detonate some of these poor Ungors here. Oh man, that Chariot just gets destroyed by the Dread Saurian, and it does rank him up to rank 3. So, just checking in on the stats here, 75 melee attack and 41 melee defense. So getting pretty scaled out of whack here in terms of the stats. Gorbel just gets absolutely deleted right there. And yeah, you can see the Beastmen very ahead on the balance of power. But things are honestly not looking great, as there's not a whole lot left that can actually kill this Dread Saurian. Especially with him just eating these chariots for breakfast. And yeah, oh man, they are getting terrified away. Lifeslon's still online as well, so not looking good so far. We'll see. This could be a good charge here from these Centaurs. Try and break the Lifeslon. If they could potentially get rid of the Lifeslon and maybe deal with the Dread Saurian just purely on leadership. But you can see, because of the scaling effects as well, if we go ahead and have a look here, the oh man, where did it go? There we go. It keeps changing because things are changing, but you can see that other 19. That is 19 extra leadership from the XP chevrons as well. So because of that extra leadership and the extra stats, this thing is essentially going to be unbreakable in the late game here. And that extra vigor was nice as well. I mean, it's very tired getting to exhausted now at this point, but it did have better vigor than pretty much all the Beastman units throughout that entire fight there. So you can see now the balance power turns as Morgr just gets absolutely deleted by the Dread Saurian, and yeah, there's no way the Beastman can come back from something like this. Thing's got 41 melee defense, 75 melee attack, so, you know, all things completely balanced, totally. Yeah, not really too much to talk about in terms of the battle breakdown there. You guys pretty much saw everything. Taco did a great job, you know, getting a full envelopment there, got some pretty key engagements. Maybe took a little bit too much damage on the Gorbel. Maybe you could actually just trade that Gorbel out for a second Giant. There's definitely an argument to be made there, but for Hadris, I mean, the Dread Saurian, super carry there, and he did a good job of focusing his healing in the right place, keeping his Lifeslon alive into the late game. A great job supporting with the Cohort of Huatl and the Star Chamber Guardians as well, but obviously 224 kills, on that Dreadsaurian, and yeah, remember, it's insane stats. 75 attack, 40, what was that, 40-something melee defense? So just for comparison, let's go ahead and have a look here at a Dreadsaurian on the battle screen. So if we go ahead and rank it up to rank 3, okay, everything looks fine. 56-29, that's what we saw there at the start of the battle. Makes sense. It's 25-35, which is pretty expensive, but still not quite as expensive as the, or sorry, not the Feral Dreadsaurian. The regular Dreadsaurian here is what we're looking for. Yeah, 56-29, and is 3,400, so still not as expensive as the Shredder of Lustria. Obviously doesn't have quite as good of stats, but if we have a look at the Shredder of Lustria here, you'll notice something funny. And you know what? Let's go ahead and rank up this Dreadsaurian to rank 6, and that's weird, only 60 melee attack and 31 melee defense, not 75 and 40 plus. And even if we look at the Shredder of Lustria here, oh wait, 64, that's much lower than 75, and 34 melee defense, again, lower than 40. So yeah, basically what this means is that certain high value single entities can become essentially unkillable in a late game situation. Not completely unkillable, there's still armor-piercing missiles in the game, obviously, but in melee, they can become essentially unkillable. And this is another reason why you should never ever take the Shredder of Lustria, and always take the regular Dreadsaurian, at least until they fix this bug. This also will apply to something like an Ancient Stegodon, although Ancient Stegodons don't gain chevrons quite as quickly as Dreadsaurians. The other big culprit for this particular bug is the High Elves Star Dragon. So the Star Dragon is also a very high value single entity that already has incredible base stats, very tough for many factions to kill. And the scaling on this, because I believe it's like a percentage-based scaling, I'm not sure exactly how the bug works, but it gets super out of whack super quickly. And also the fact that, you can heal the Star Dragon over the long term with, like, Alariel, with Star of Avalorn and Earthblood spam, and you could also take Teclis, with Regrowth, cast that multiple times because of your Greater Arcane Conduit. And you can get the Star Dragon very out of whack. For those of you guys who saw the Everchosen Invitational, my game with Aerocrastic, and Aerocrastic would even agree to this, was definitely affected by this bug because the Star Dragon ranked up, I think, to rank like 4 or 5 from rank 0. It ended up getting a ton of extra stats, and basically there was no way I was going to be able to kill it in the late game, which is why I ended up conceding probably a little bit earlier than I should have in that game. But I was just looking at that Star Dragon stats there, and I was like, there's no way. I mean, none of my units can touch him. Maybe Gotrek can get like 1 or 2 hits, but there's just no way at that point, right? Especially with the healing and everything. So in terms of other notable units that can try and take advantage of this, most non-healing units it's not really an issue for. Something like Shaggoth, for example, isn't really going to sustain long enough in a battle to get that many chevrons, and they also don't gain them as quickly. Giants can benefit from this a little bit, just because they're a bit cheaper, and again, that high weapon strength means that they rank up relatively quickly, but again, no healing, so it's not really that much of an issue. The vampire counts, most of their units have low enough stats, most of their single entity monsters have low enough stats that they don't really benefit from this that much. The Vargulf can, although he's not likely to gain that much stats because of his low weapon strength. The Terrorgeist, on the other hand, is one of the few, because it already has pretty good melee defense. 42 for a monster is not bad, all things considered. The melee defense in particular for the Terrorgeist can get out of hand pretty quickly in a late game. But Terrorgeist, you do have to be pretty aggressive cycle charging with them because, again, don't do quite as much damage as something like a Star Dragon. They are going to take a little bit more time to rank up. Mortis Engines rank up pretty frequently, but again, they're not really like a damage-dealing unit per se. They do a little bit of anti-infantry AP, and they don't really have melee stats, though, to really benefit from that XP Chevron bug. So mostly I would say the big two are the Star Dragon and the Dreadsaurian, and the Terrorgeist, to a lesser extent, also can benefit from this bug. The other factions with healing, of course, Empire and Bretonnia, don't really have units that can benefit from this whatsoever. With the Empire Steam Tank, you're going to have to basically use up all of the ammo over the course of a whole battle, and also use it in melee to get anything close to 3 chevrons. And also, again, really doesn't have the melee stats for that to be an issue whatsoever. Bretonnia has no single entity units whatsoever. The closest thing you have is Royal Hippogriff Knights, which, granted, Royal Hippogriff Knights and Royal Pegasus Knights both consistently can get 3 to 4 chevrons in a battle, but because they're multi-model units, they lose a good amount of their killing power over the course of the battle, right? Because they're not single entity monsters, so it's not really a problem so much for them. And really, your single entity monsters are all characters. Same thing with the Empire, like your real true monsters like Griffins are all characters who, of course, can't gain XP chevrons. So hopefully I've sort of explained this bug in a way that is understandable for most people. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.